Hello everyone and welcome back to Next Gen Gaming SC. I'm your host Josh Schneider, and today we have the final match of the Friday 1K at SCG CON Baltimore. Over 40 players competed in today's 1K, and now we've got just Matt and Sundeep remaining as they will battle it out for the title. Matt on the left piloting Palpatine Green. And then we have Sundeep on the right piloting Han Green. Should be a very interesting matchup. The links to both of these deck lists will be posted down in the description below. We have two pretty exciting decks here in the finals. Sundeep and his Han Green list, almost a toolbox deck with quite a few one-ofs in the list. And then Matt with a very interesting Palpatine Green deck. Matt has included a single copy of Tech in the deck list, which will certainly come as a surprise to most players, but can make a huge impact, no doubt. Matt did want to give credit to Mickey D on the K2OD Discord for the deck. Mickey actually won a 1K with this deck 1 week ago. And now Matt having great success here in Baltimore. Neither player had a play in round one. And to get us started in round two, Admiral Piet coming down for Matt. Sundeep using the action ability on Han to get to 4 resources. And then he's going to play Kira. And with Kira's win played ability, Sundeep names Command. And that is very likely to try and cut off the ramp for Matt. Command could get Matt an extra resource, and Sundeep does not want to see Palpatine and the other big threats any earlier. So Matt was able to retain the initiative. Sundeep does have to defeat 1 resource, as he used the Han action ability last round. So to start things off here in round 3, Matt will take the first action. And Matt is going to attack Sundeep's base with the Admiral, 1 damage to the base. And Sundeep will come across with Kira, 3 damage to Matt's base. Matt is going to use the action ability on Emperor Palpatine. Paying 1 resource, he defeats a friendly unit, defeating Piet. He gets to deal 1 damage to Kira and draw a card. The action back over to Sundeep. Still 4 available resources. Sundeep just claiming the initiative. And Matt is going to pass. We will move on to the next round. Sundeep will probably be looking for an explosive play here in this round. He has 5 resources. We know he could get to 6 resources with Han's action ability. Han could be deployed, bring him up to 7 resources. But to start us off with the first action, Sundeep will go 3 damage to Matt's base with Kira. That's 6 damage on. And Matt will play Enterprising Lackeys, the new double command card from Shadows of the Galaxy. And Sundeep will use Han's action ability. So there we go. 6 resources for Sundeep now. Han Solo can be deployed. Matt's next action, he is just going to claim the initiative, and here comes Han Solo. Han into play. 4 more damage to Matt's base. That's going to be 10 damage on Matt's base now. And now Sundeep going to use up those 7 resources. Here comes the 7-cost Han unit. Han ambushing into Enterprising Lackeys and defeating the Lackeys. We move on to the next round, and Matt is going to scoop it up. He cannot answer that board, and Sundeep will take the 1-0 lead here in the finals. We are set for game 2 here in the final match of the Friday 1K at SCG CON Baltimore. Matt versus Sundeep. It's Palpatine Green versus Han Green. Sundeep with a pretty quick victory in the first game. Able to have the big explosive play on or in round 4. Using the Han action ability, going to 6 resources, then going to 7 after the on-attack ability, playing the big Han, the 7-cost Han unit. Matt had no board and no way to deal with. The next turn would have been 13 damage coming through. So to start things off here in game 2, Matt once again just claiming the initiative. In round 1, Sundeep using the Han action ability, getting 3 resources, and will play Echo-based Defender right out of the gate. Here in round 2, Matt will have the initiative once again. Sundeep does have to defeat a resource. The resource defeated was a Waylay. And Matt will start things out with Phase 3 Dark Trooper. The new buffed up cell block guard from set 1. Dark Trooper, a 3/3 Sentinel. And if you do not defeat him right away, he gets bigger each time he is dealt combat damage. So Sundeep is going to trade right away with the Dark Trooper. Echo-based Defender attacking into the Dark Trooper. Both units defeated. Matt just claiming the initiative and Sundeep passing, so no follow-up play from Sundeep. We move to round 3. Matt starting us off in round 3 will play a Scanning Officer, which is going to reveal 3 of Sundeep's resources, and each resource that has Smuggle keyword or has the Smuggle keyword will be defeated. And we know that Sundeep is running DJ in his deck. Does Matt find the DJ? There's Reinforcement Walker, Waylay, and he has hit DJ off of the Scanning Officer. That is a fantastic play for Matt. Sundeep not only losing the DJ, but he essentially loses a resource for this round. The resource that had the Smuggle keyword, DJ, gets defeated. You do get to replace that resource, but the resource comes into play exhausted. So to follow up the Scanning Officer play, Sundeep playing Spark of Rebellion. He sees 2 different ways for Matt to ramp in his hand, Resupply and Super Laser Technician. And he is going to discard the Resupply. The ability to gain extra resources, a ramp for Matt, is so important. Matt was able to claim the initiative once again. Sundeep, nothing on the board. This is definitely not the start that Sundeep was looking for here in game 2. To start things out here in this round, Matt using the Scanning Officer to attack Sundeep's base for 2 damage. And now the play over to Sundeep. He will use the Han Solo action ability. Now he just has to decide which card he will put into play as a resource. The Scanning Officer play last round for Matt, being able to take the DJ out of the picture and very likely interrupt what Sundeep was wanting to do last round, as he lost one of his ready resources. That was a big momentum swinging round there for Matt. Right now for Sundeep, he has no units on the board. He has dealt no damage to Matt's base, and we are getting to a point in this game where very soon we will be seeing some very big threats coming into play for Matt. So Sundeep, after using the Han action ability, Matt is going to play Emperor's Royal Guard. And then Sundeep deploying Han Solo. Matt just claiming the initiative. Sundeep attacking the Royal Guard. 4 damage onto the Royal Guard. Sundeep does get a 7th resource, and here comes the 7-cost Han unit once again. Han Solo coming into play, ambushing into and defeating the Royal Guard. And then after the Han Solo play, Sundeep passing, we move on to the next round. Matt with the initiative, staring down a pair of Han Solos in the ground arena. Sundeep defeating 2 resources here to start this round. And they were correcting the damage on Han Solo. Sundeep had put 4 damage on Han, but the Emperor's Royal Guard only dealt 3 damage, so we got that corrected. Which that was important because with 4 damage on Han Solo, the leader unit, the scanning officer could have defeated Han. So to start things off in this round, scanning officer, another 2 damage to Sundeep's base. Sundeep with 4 damage on his base at this point. The play moves back over to Sundeep. He does have a bit of an opening here. He's got the Han Solo leader unit, the 7-cost Han with 6 power, so he certainly has some options to be aggressive right now, and he is going to do just that. The big Han Solo going into Matt's base for 6 damage. And Matt is going to play the Super Laser Technician. And Sundeep continuing to be aggressive, attacking Matt's base with the Han Solo leader unit. Another 4 damage to Matt's base puts the total up to 10 damage. And Matt will use Emperor Palpatine's action ability, defeating the Super Laser Technician. Matt getting an extra resource and will deal 1 damage to Han Solo, the 7-cost unit. It's a very strong play for Matt. I believe Matt is holding Darth Vader. He is. So putting the 1 damage onto the 6/6 Han Solo means that Darth Vader could come into play and ambush and defeat the big Han. And now Sundeep will play Kira, taking a look at Matt's hand, and a lot of very good cards there for Matt. He has 2 very strong 7-cost units, Darth Vader and Maul. He also has the Dark Trooper as well as Overwhelming Barrage. So quite a strong hand for Matt. Sundeep analyzing the options, trying to figure out which card does the most damage to him at this point in the game. One way or the other, Matt will have the option to play a 7-cost ambush unit next round. And Sundeep has chosen Overwhelming Barrage. So the Overwhelming Barrage will cost 8 with the Kira in play. And Matt just going to claim the initiative. Sundeep will pass. We move on to the next round, and that is a really nice play from Matt, just claiming the initiative there because he's at 8 resources now. He could flip Palpatine right away, and he has a great target for the Palpatine flip. The Han Solo 7-cost unit is damaged. And now Sundeep does have to defeat one resource after getting an extra resource from the Han Solo attack in the last round. Matt has to be feeling good in this position. He is staring down a rather large board on Sundeep's side of the table, but he's got Palpatine that he can flip right away. He could take control of the 7-cost Han Solo unit. We know he has both Maul and Darth Vader in his hand. And we are getting the damage updated on Matt's base. I believe the tokens were showing 9 damage, but he was at 10 damage total with an attack from both of the Han Solo units. So Sundeep defeating the resource. He is ready to go, and Matt is going to flip Palpatine right away and take control of Big Han Solo. And now the action back over to Sundeep, and his own Han Solo becoming a threat against him. Han could come across the board and immediately take out the Han leader unit or the Kira. And Sundeep will play another copy of the 7-cost Han unit. And he will have to ambush and defeat his own Han Solo. And that is going to use up all of the resources for Sundeep here in this round. He could still get one extra resource from the Han Solo leader unit. Action back over to Matt. And Matt is going to attack and defeat the Han Solo leader unit with Emperor Palpatine. And with the on-attack ability that Palpatine has, he will defeat a friendly unit, defeating the scanning officer, dealing 1 damage to the Han Solo, and drawing 1 card. Sundeep will use Kira to attack Matt's base for 3 damage, 13 total damage now on Matt's base. And here comes Darth Vader. This is another super strong play for Matt. Only 5 damage remaining on Han Solo. Darth Vader will be able to ambush into Han and defeat him. Matt choosing to do the win played ability first, getting the Emperor's Royal Guard out of the top 10 cards, playing that for free. Now Matt has a Sentinel in the ground unit, and Vader does ambush and defeat Han Solo. Sundeep just claiming the initiative. And now the momentum has shifted completely over to Matt. Sundeep, no doubt, in a tough spot. Kira, the only unit on the board for Sundeep, staring down Palpatine, Vader, and the Royal Guard in Matt's ground arena. Sundeep has dealt 13 damage to Matt's base, but at this stage, it is going to be very difficult to get more damage through the ground arena. Sundeep likely needs to try and shift his strategy into the space arena to try to finish off this game. Because we know that Matt is still holding more threats for the ground arena. We know he has a Maul in hand, which could immediately come out and answer anything that Sundeep can put in the ground arena. So here we go to start the round. The first action on Sundeep. He will play U-wing reinforcement. And Sundeep is certainly in need of reinforcements. What will he find? I do see a Millennium Falcon. That could certainly be a good option. Try to put some pressure on Matt in the space arena. Sundeep going to play an Echo-based defender and the Millennium Falcon off of U-wing reinforcement. That will slow things down in the ground arena just a little bit for Matt. And Sundeep trying to put the pressure on in space. And now the action back over to Matt. He will attack into Echo-based defender with Emperor Palpatine. That will defeat Echo-based defender. 4 more damage onto Palpatine. Palpatine's such a difficult unit to defeat. He has 10 HP, still has 2 remaining. And now the action back over to Sundeep. He is still staring down the Sentinel in the ground arena. Kira cannot attack anything other than the Royal Guard. Sundeep has used all of his resources for the round. And it looks like he is going to attack Matt's base for 3 damage with Millennium Falcon. And Matt is going to bring out Maul and ambush into Kira, defeating Kira, which is going to get Overwhelming Barrage back online for Matt. Sundeep just claiming the initiative. And here comes 8 damage to Sundeep's base with Darth Vader and the Royal Guard. 14 damage on Sundeep's base. We've got 16 on Matt's base. And Matt with an overwhelming presence in the ground arena. Matt is actually showing, I believe, 19 damage in the ground arena right now, so he certainly has enough damage on board to finish this game. Sundeep will have to have a response. Here in this round, otherwise we will head to game 3. Sundeep does have to decide what he wants to do with the Millennium Falcon. He has to pay 1 resource to keep it in play, or he could return it to his hand. Millennium Falcon just not doing enough damage right now. Sundeep still has to find a way to deal 14 damage to Matt's base while somehow surviving the onslaught that's going on in the ground arena. And Millennium Falcon will stay on the board. Sundeep paying the 1 resource. And now the first action of the round will be Sundeep's to take. Such a tough spot that Sundeep is in, and he is going to smuggle in tech. But at this point, tech does not answer what Matt is doing in the ground arena. And with the action over to Matt, overwhelming barrage back down to just costing 5. He will wipe out Sundeep's board giving Maul +2/+2 for the phase, dealing 9 damage, 5 damage to Tech, 4 damage to the Falcon. And Sundeep with Leia exhausting Maul. And that will extend things a little bit here in game 2. Now back over to Matt. Matt showing 12 damage in the ground arena at this point that he could still attack with. And he's going to come across the board with the Royal Guard. That'll be 3 damage to Sundeep's base, putting the total damage up to 17. Sundeep just claiming the initiative. And another 9 damage to Sundeep's base with Vader and Palpatine. And that is going to put the damage total up to 26. And another copy of Emperor's Royal Guard coming down into the ground arena for Matt. And that is going to do it for game 2. Matt with the win. And we are heading to game 3 in the finals of the 1K at SCG CON Baltimore. We are ready for a deciding game 3 here in the finals of the Friday 1K at SCG CON Baltimore. Palpatine and Han going at it. Matt versus Sundeep. We're all tied up 1 game apiece. Sundeep taking game 1. And then Matt coming back in game 2. And now the winner here in game 3 will take the title. Sundeep using the Han action ability to start things off, and then Scanning Officer. Oh, that's huge for Matt. Scanning Officer coming into play and hitting one of Sundeep's resources. DJ in the resource row, and Sundeep's turn 1 play is spoiled. Sundeep, after using the Han action ability, getting to 3 resources, was no doubt wanting to play a 3-cost unit in that spot. And the Scanning Officer for Matt takes away one of those resources because DJ in the resource row getting defeated, taking Sundeep back to just 2 ready resources. That is a terrific start for Matt here in game 3. And now after using the Han action ability, Sundeep does have to defeat a resource. That resource is Leia. So Leia into the discard pile, which is very good for Han, especially when you are running home 1. Leia can be a great play coming out of the discard pile with home 1 later in the game. And here in round 2, Sundeep playing Millennium Falcon into the space arena. And then Matt using the Scanning Officer, 2 damage to Sundeep's base. And then Sundeep coming across with Millennium Falcon, 3 damage to Matt's base. And then Matt will play a Colonel Yularen and heal 1 damage from his base. 2 damage on each base here at the end of round 2. Sundeep was able to retain the initiative. And now let's see what he decides with Millennium Falcon. Does he pay the Falcon tax? And Sundeep does choose to pay the Falcon tax and keep Millennium Falcon in play. Sundeep with the first action of the round. Is just going to attack Matt's base with Millennium Falcon to start things out. That's 5 damage total on Matt's base. And Matt with another Scanning Officer coming into play. And no smuggle cards this time around, so he does not have another big hit with the Scanning Officer. Matt does heal a damage from his base off of the Colonel Yularen trigger. And Sundeep playing Tech into the ground arena. Matt going to put 2 damage on Tech with Scanning Officer. Sundeep just claims the initiative. And Matt not playing around. He's going to put another 2 damage onto Tech with Colonel Yularen. And then use the Emperor Palpatine ability to defeat the Scanning Officer with damage and take out the Tech, dealing the last damage needed. Matt knows that it is just too dangerous to leave the Tech in play. Sundeep with the initiative. If he found another DJ, put him into the resource row, and smuggled him in for 5, that could have been game over for Matt, right? As Matt would have lost a resource. So Sundeep with the initiative, returning the Falcon to hand. Sundeep looking to have a big Han Solo round. Using the action ability, getting an extra resource, up to 6 resources. Now the action back over to Matt. Matt will attack Sundeep's base for 2 with Colonel Yularen. And then Sundeep will deploy Han Solo. And here comes Overwhelming Barrage for Matt. That's going to deal 4 damage to Han Solo. Matt giving the Scanning Officer +2/+2 for the phase. And then Sundeep going to attack Matt's base for 4 damage with Han Solo and get an extra resource, bringing him up to 7 total. And then Matt will attack and defeat Han Solo with the Scanning Officer. Scanning Officer will take back 4 damage, which would be enough to defeat it. But for the time being, Scanning Officer does have 5 HP, so 1 remaining. Although at the end of the phase, will lose the +2/+2 and be defeated. And with 7 resources, Sundeep playing the 7-cost Han unit and will ambush into Colonel Yularen, defeating the Colonel. Matt just claiming the initiative. Sundeep passes, and a pretty strong turn for Sundeep. Matt will start things out in this round, round 5, with the initiative. We've got 8 damage on Matt's base, 4 damage on Sundeep's base. Sundeep certainly has the board advantage right now with the Han Solo in play, and Matt having no units on his side of the board. Sundeep did have to defeat 2 resources, so he is back down to 6 total. And now with the first action of the round, Matt will play Command, and he is going to give himself an extra resource with Command and return, it looks like, Colonel Yularen to his hand from the discard pile. Matt a bit behind right now, knowing that he's going to take some damage. That heal from Colonel Yularen could come into play. And Sundeep is going to smack Matt's base for 6 damage, putting Matt's damage total up to 14. And here comes the Colonel Yularen for Matt. That will allow Matt to heal 1 damage from his base, putting the total back down to 13. The action is back over to Sundeep. He does still have 6 ready resources to use. We'll see if he can continue to apply more pressure. 13 damage on Matt's base at this point. Sundeep has to feel pretty good about the spot he is in. And a little bit of noise from the crowd. Sundeep asking the crowd to quiet down a little bit, and Matt with some friendly banter says, no, pick it up. Sundeep trying to figure out the best play, trying to keep the momentum going here in the deciding Game 3 of the final here in this 1K in Baltimore. And Sundeep is going to play Kira. That could certainly be a very impactful play. We see 2 copies of Vader, Devastator, and Reinforcement Walker in Matt's hand. And Sundeep is going to name Darth Vader. Very solid play for Sundeep in this round, and Matt just claiming the initiative. Sundeep will use the Han Solo action ability to get an extra resource, which gives him 3 ready resources, and he's going to play Tech. And now Sundeep has a very stacked ground arena. Matt will go up to 8 resources in this round after the command in last round. So the Reinforcement Walker still an option here in this round, even though the Darth Vader currently out of the picture with the Kira on the board. Sundeep defeating 1 resource after using the Han Solo action ability. That resource was U-Wing Reinforcement. Matt has put his 8th resource down. He is ready to go. This is a crucial round for Matt. Palpatine could be deployed this round, but he wants to get good value out of Palpatine. Will need to put some damage on one of those units across the board first. And Matt, with the first action, he is going to take Yularen and attack into Kira. It's a strong play because it puts damage on Kira and sets up Palpatine being able to take her off of the board. And Sundeep is going to smuggle in DJ. That's going to take a resource from Matt, which is going to keep him from deploying Palpatine. And Matt knows there's no way out of it at that point. Matt extends the hand for the handshake. That will do it. Sundeep is your Friday 1K champion here at SCG CON Baltimore. Thank you so much to everyone joining me here today. A big congratulations to Sundeep and Matt for their great run in the 1K. Stay tuned for coverage of the SCG CON Baltimore 2K coming soon. May the force be with you, and until next time, take care.